올해로 두 번째를 맞이한 제2회 청소년 나의 꿈 영어 에세이 발표대회 사회를 맡은 얼TV 아나운서 정은입니다. 여러분 반갑습니다. 지금부터 제2회 청소년 나의 꿈 영어 에세이 발표대회를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 대회 축하해 주시기 위해서 우리 토론토에서 총영사관에서 강정식 총영사님 오셨습니다. 강정식 총영사님을 단상으로 모시고 축사를 들어보는 시간을 마련해봤습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 환영해 주십시오.
영어 에세이 발표대회 개최를 진심으로 축하드립니다. 우선 오늘 심사를 맡아주시는 세 분, 그리고 예비 심사를 거쳐서 선발된 우리 8분 학생들에게 감사 그리고 축하와 격려의 말씀을 드립니다. 그동안 우리 동포 청소년들을 대상으로 한 한국어 말하기 대회가 많이 개최됐습니다만 영어에는 익숙하지만 또 한국어가 서투른 이곳에서 자란 그리고 태어난 2세, 3세들이 참여가 그렇게 쉽지 않았습니다. 근데 이제 영어 에세이 발표 대회가 마련됨으로 인해서 동포 2세, 3세들이 보다 자유롭게 코리안 캐나디언으로서 자아의 정체성과 그리고 우리 문화에 대한 자신들만의 생각을 정리하고 또 글로 표현하고 또 발표할 수 있게 되었습니다. 다양한 문화 그리고 다양한 인종들이 모여 사는 이곳 캐나다에서 후세들에게 모국어와 그리고 모국 문화를 보다 쉽게 접근할 수 있게 하고 또 배울 수 있게 그렇게 기회를 제공하는 것은 우리 기성세대의 큰 임무라고 생각합니다. 앞으로도 우리 동포 여러분께서 청소년 대상 한국어 말하기 대회는 물론 영어 에세이 발표대회도 크게 관심을 가져주시고 적극 성원해 주시기를 부탁드립니다. 끝으로 이번 대회를 방송을 통해 우리 동포사회에 널리 전파해 주시고 또 특별 상금까지 기꺼이 출연해 주신 얼TV에 심심한 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 아무쪼록 오늘 참가자들 좋은 발표를 기대합니다. 감사합니다.
네, 강정식 토론토 총영사님의 축사가 있었습니다. 자, 다음은 오늘 행사를 준비해 주신 토론토 교육원의 이병승 교육원장님을 모시고 심사위원 세 분에 대한 소개와 함께 오늘 심사가 어떻게 진행이 되는지 심사 기준 그리고 그동안 진행된 그 경과에 대해서 발표하는 시간을 마련해봤습니다. 여러분 이병승 교육원장님 박수로 부탁드리겠습니다.
우선 최종 발표대회까지 올라온 8명의 학생 축하드리고 부모님께도 굉장히 축하 말씀드립니다. 그 총영사님께서 말씀하셨다시피 이 대회가 작년부터 진행됐고 그 코리안 헤리티지를 가진 학생들이 영어로서 자기의 어떤 역할 앞으로 한국과 캐나다 사이에 어떤 역할을 할 것이냐에 대한 고민을 한 번쯤 해볼 수 있는 기회를 마련하기 위해서 이런 자리를 마련하게 됐습니다. 오늘 그 하루 아마 학생들 굉장히 긴장될 텐데 좀 긴장 풀고 다 같이 이제 그리고 학부모님께서는 꼭 여러분들의 자녀보다는 이미 훌륭한 학생들이 여러 명 나왔기 때문에 그 상해에 연연하지 마시고 다 내 자녀 같다라는 생각으로 앞으로 조국을 위해서 또 캐나다를 위해서 일할 우리 또 후배나 어떤 그 후손이라고 생각하시고 다들 격려해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
첫 번째 참가 학생 여러분께 소개해드리겠습니다. 그레이드 9의 최진희, 에밀리 초이 학생입니다.
안녕하세요. Hello, my name is Emily Choi and I'm grade 9. Today I'm presenting a speech on my place in the biracial ties of Korean-Canadian nationalities. It's basically about what impact you make depending on your nationality or ethnicity and what you can really do by taking a part of you and applying it to other people's lives. And I hope you enjoy the speech. Thank you. 감사합니다.
What kind of career do you want? Do you have your whole future planned out?
Do you know exactly what you want to be when you grow up? When asked these questions, people of the same or similar age as me would generally say that they have an unclear idea of what they want to be, or simply have no answer to provide. For students of this age, this is perfectly natural, as adulthood is a far-off future. Growing up, I had a mental list of possible future occupations, but I never focused solely on one option, fearing of regretting my decision and being stuck with a career I may be bound to for life. I simply wanted a future where I was financially stable, happy with myself, and doing something of benefit for the world. Giving it some more thought on the matter, I want to contract my vast vision and think of something more specific, such as my nationality. My Korean-Canadian background is a huge part of me, and it's very important. It's something that urges me to do something of benefit for people of both nations. But does that mean I have to make a monumental difference for the biracial area? Do I have to be a rising icon in the media just to boost representation for my ethnicity? I think not. Being a member of the Korean-Canadian community does not mean I must become an important figure in the world's eyes between Korea and Canada. Your impact is not measured on how many people you affect. It's how you affect them and how you change their lives. Korean culture and influence has been growing in popularity in Ontario. Growing up in Canada while in a Korean family, there was not much representation for Korea in my eyes. Korea almost seemed like a background you wouldn't want to represent or wasn't even bothered to be represented. But there were a few sudden inspirations that showed me that Korea was still a representation to defend. My grade 1 teacher was an avid learner for Hangul. And my grade 8 big buddy was into K-pop, and we would always talk animatedly about Big Bang and Girls' Generation. Despite all this, I rarely noticed much Korean representation or knowledge of the country in my younger years of elementary school. It was by the time I was in middle school that I realized South Korea was growing in popularity and awareness. I was seeing people of every race speaking in Korean on an MBC show my mother was watching, and my non-Korean friends were learning how to read and write in Korean on their own. I was amazed. This made me realize how much of an impact my root nation had. Going through your life, there are things you're unaware of. And there was something I was barely conscious of in my years of elementary school, and to this day, I'm still unsure if it is something I should have realized by myself. Teaching someone something, how to do something, is something that gives me great joy. When I was finished my work and someone needed help in theirs, there was nothing that made me happier than teaching them the right methods of carrying something out, and the joy I received when they understood how to do it. I love to teach, educate, and empower those who are struggling. I would even sometimes neglect my own work just to help others. Teachers are beacons of knowledge meant to inspire and aid. They make tremendous impacts on individual students. Most of the teachers I've met are not world famous, as far as I know, but they leave their students with new skills and knowledge that they use for their entire lives. They have been key figures in my life, shaping me into the student I am today. Sharing what I know to others seems like a pension I would be content to continue for the rest of my life. A past teacher once told me, even teachers are still learning. They still learn new things. And so I want to incorporate learning, teaching, and Korean culture into my future. My friends had always told me that I had a certain liking for taking up new languages. But in truth, I had only learned them to better understand the origin of linguistics and being able to converse with people that had difficulty with English. Now I want to broaden people's knowledge of Korean culture, such as our traditions, language, and of course our painful but honorable history. Korea does not need to be represented just by K-pop and Psy and whatever. Now, what I found especially interesting about Korea is that it's a country the world didn't expect to last. It was a war-torn country of devastation that was expected to fizzle out. But Korea became and remains an economic and influential powerhouse today because it built itself back up with constant determination and vigilance. I'm very proud to call myself a Korean Canadian, acquiring parts of both respected countries with their diverse cultures. I want to bring more of the culture of Korea into the open-minded Canada, help people learn Hangul, teach others of the hardships Korea endured, and be able to be a bridge between two countries. For now, I'm still unsure what kind of path I will take or whether or which way I will go to achieve my future goals. There's still so much more out there for me to learn before I know what I'm going to do regarding my place on the biracial ties. So many more skills I have to obtain and hone. I may not become an interpreter. I may not become a Korean teacher, Korean history teacher. My ideals may change and decisions take time. What I do know, though, is that whichever path I take, I will make an impact on two countries I am part of, whether it is upon a whole country or a single student. Thank you. 감사합니다.
사실 첫 번째 참가자가 갖는 부담감이라는 게 대단합니다. 사실 가능하면 첫 번째 순서를 모두가 피하고 싶잖아요. 끝나고 나면 이거 좀 잘할 거라는 그런 아쉬움도 있기 마련인데요. 우리 첫 번째 참가자지만 긴장하지 않고 또 끝까지 자기가 준비해온 내용을 발표를 잘해준 우리 최유진 학생에게 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 수고 많으셨습니다. 자, 두 번째 잔상으로 모실 학생은 다니엘 한 그레이드 10 다니엘 한 학생입니다. 박수로 모시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 한진영입니다. 저는 15살이고 지금 여기서 학교에서 10학년입니다. Hello, my name is Daniel Han. I'm 15 years old. I'm in grade 10. And today I'm going to be talking about the culture retention of Korean youth in Canada. 감사합니다. So growing up as a Korean in Canada, my parents were always really proud to be Korean, and I think they did an amazing job handing that down to me. They always made sure I was a part of some sort of a Korean community here in Canada outside of my house. And that impacted me in two big ways, which kind of formed the base of my speech that I'm going to deliver to you today. So the first thing that I walked away with from having always been part of a Korean community was I came to realize just how beautiful and intricate the country of Korea is. It's just amazing how the history and the culture and the troubles that we have come through just come together to make Korea what it is today. And that made me so proud to be able to call myself a Korean in this land we call Canada. But the one other thing I noticed from my experiences was I just noticed how big of a percentage kids my age in Canada that were Korean were completely unable to maintain their Korean culture in Canada. I mean, how is that? How is it that we as Koreans who take so much pride in who we are unable to have our youth maintain their culture in a country as diverse as Canada? I found this almost shameful that we should have to face this in a situation like this. So that's the problem I decided to tackle with my speech today. And I decided to go back to the roots of the problem. And the roots of the problem is it's not easy to solve, but it's very simple. It goes back to the fact that they never learned the Korean language. And the problem is the fact that they haven't learned the Korean language, it's very hard to solve because at no point does it come back to a lack of effort, whether it's the lack of effort from the parents, the children themselves, or from the Korean community in the form of a lack of encouragement. Rather, I found that the problem is the method through which we try to teach these Korean kids their native language. So I speak from experience. I've attended one of those programs, and how it works is it took place at Thornhill Secondary School. It's a perfect plan on paper. $20, and for 2.5 hours each week, you get to come to Thornhill Secondary School, and a volunteer teacher teaches you the Korean language for 2.5 hours. And yet, it's like I said, a perfect plan on paper. It's affordable. It's cheap. It's $20 for the entire school year. It's at Thornhill Secondary School, which means it's a location that everybody recognizes and is able to get to. So then what's the problem here? The problem is difficult to solve, but it's very simple. And it just comes back to the fact that kids don't want to be in an environment where they're just sitting down in a classroom and learning for another 2.5 hours. We do that as students for 7 hours every day at school, and I don't think any of us would say that we want to do that for another 2.5 hours once a week to learn Korean. So then what can be a possible solution? See, what I found is that this day and age particularly, the kids don't want to be dragged to Korean school, especially in an age where technology is advancing and they're just so used to having everything brought to them. So we need to stop trying to bring them to the language, but we need to start bringing the language to them. And I found that the best way to do this was simply to have an online course in place of the physical course that would take place at these secondary schools. And I understand that it might not be the ideal for a lot of the people who believe in that traditional classroom setting, but it makes sense. Because with these, all we would have to do is have some pre-recorded lessons and upload them to the website with worksheets. And through that, the children will be able to work at their own pace, rewatching lessons if necessary. They'd be able to work whenever they want with all the tools at their disposal, and they'd be able to do it all from the comfort of their homes. See, by bringing this to you, I'm not trying to suggest in any way that I'm more capable or that I have been more clever than any of you watching that have already been putting effort into the culture retention of Korean kids in Canada. Rather, as part of the demographic you are working with, I hope that you will decide to move forward with this idea, and I hope that the speech that I've delivered today will be able to give you some new ideas and a very different point of view on how we can teach the youth of Korea in Canada their language and how to make sure that they retain their culture to ultimately better the relationship between the two countries. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, my name is Alexander Van Zwol, and today my essay is about my dream as a future Korean-Canadian Prime Minister. Thank you. Hello, esteemed judges and fellow participants. My name is Alexander Van Zwol. I'm 14 years old, and I live in Whitby, Ontario. And these are my personal opinions on why I believe that I, a Korean-Canadian, will be able to change the world, and specifically, the relationship between Canada and South Korea. I believe that having a future Korean-Canadian Prime Minister like me would benefit the world because I was adopted by a good family, and Canada has been voted the second best country to live in. So I've practically been set up for success by having a good handpicked family and by growing up in one of the most politically stable, friendly, and educationally strong countries in the world. South Korea and Canada also share a large number of similarities, and I feel like our current leaders are just touching the surface of a blossoming relationship, and that I, as a Korean Canadian, will be able to change the world with a like-minded South Korean leader. Koreans have been tested according to the Statistic Brain Research Institute in 2016 to have the second highest average IQ in the world with a staggering score of 106. I believe that we can use that high IQ gained from a combination of genetics and education by improving the Korean and Canadian Foreign Student Exchange Program. It would benefit South Korea because English is the second most spoken language in the world. And my reasoning for the program is that Canadians happen to be placed in the top 25 countries with the highest IQ as well. And I believe that we can become more educated and intelligent by working together as a team effort. According to my research, some foreign exchange students are paying too much tuition. So hence, I will make it a non-profit organization. This will entice students from both countries to sign up for my program. My goal is to help benefit the relationship and economies of both of our countries. And that is because more citizens will get better educated, which will get them better jobs, which will boost our economic states. I also envision a political bridge being built under my supervision, and I think that I, the Prime Minister, could arrange multiple political meetings between both of our countries. We could discuss our plans and what's happening in the world as a duo and try to become stronger together, because two heads are always better than one. And the two heads that will be put together would represent two of the most influential countries in the world. Finally, I have noted that we both have particular resources that we could utilize. For example, Canada has a large abundance of natural resources, such as lumber, mineral, oil, etc. However, South Korea has an abundance and manufactures a lot of electronics, automobiles, textiles, rice, soybeans, and I believe that those are some materials that I think Canada could use. South Korea is also very strong in the field of automation, and I believe that us Canadians could learn automation techniques from the superior techniques of the South Koreans. In conclusion, those are four of my many ideas on how in the future I could influence the relationship between South Korea and Canada by having a Korean-born Canadian Prime Minister, me, improving the student exchange program, creating political bridges, and improving the import and export trade systems. I have great expectations that I have a role to play in the growth of Canada and South Korea rising to their full potential. I have already started getting a foothold in Canadian politics by tutoring French to the Whitby Member of Parliament Céline César Chavannes. Oui, je parle couramment le français. And I have met with the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau while he was on campaign tour through Durham. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present my dream role as a Korean Canadian. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 이소은이고요. 저의 에세이는 저의 꿈, 디자이너가 되기 위한 꿈을 설명해 주는 그런 에세이입니다. 감사합니다.
There was a girl who came to Canada 3 years ago and couldn't speak English. She was a very shy and quiet person in her class. But now she's standing in front of people speaking about the dream. That girl is me. 3 years ago, I was unfamiliar with Canadian school environment. I couldn't speak English that well, but I was confident in my drawing. So I drew background pictures when there's any type of school events. Then I started to make a bunch of keychains and drew animation characters for as my classmates. I was able to make friends after that. At that time, I realized language is not as important as art. In my opinion, art and culture can communicate with people through emotions and feelings. My parents always said to me, you don't have to follow money, but you must do things what you want to do and be. When I design things, I'm very happy. I spent a lot of time in the library when I first came to Canada. Then I knew about Toronto Public Library bookmark design contest. I drew a self-portrait to compete in this contest and became the grand winner. My bookmarks were displayed in hundreds of Toronto Public Library. After this, I got self-confidence and tried lots of things. My next self-goal was to go to art school called Cardinal Cara Academy for the Arts. I had to submit 7 portfolios and do an interview. Because I wasn't fluent in English at that time, I felt some pressure doing an interview. But I decided to work harder so I can improve my English and do my portfolio best as I can. Finally, I passed the audition. I realized when I put up effort, I can achieve everything. 3 months ago, I applied to Canada's 150 City Cover Design Contest, which was hosted by Toronto Catholic District School Board. As you know, Canada is a multicultural country, so I drew a variety of multicultural people looking happy on the big maple leaf. I won the first place in this contest. Moreover, I was very pleased by the fact that CDI design will be distributed to all TCDSP school. My dream is to be a famous designer in the world. Although I'm living in Canada, I'm still Korean and interested in Korean youth and issues. In 2015, I drew 115th Dokdo Day poster, and last year I drew a status die which is looking at sinking sail ship. I try to give message not to forget about sail ship. Culture and art can translate languages and ages to give emotional messages. Also, they have freedom that doesn't limit any age or religion. This year, 2017, is 54th anniversary of diplomatic relation between Korea and Canada. They can maintain closer through culture and artistic exchanges as well as politics and economic areas. These exchanges can enrich and strengthen Canada-Korea relationship. Most Canadians probably don't know Korea capital city Seoul but know about kimchi. They might also don't know Korea president's name but know about PSI or Gangnam Style. Looking at this, I knew culture will be a powerful thing to make people know more about Korea. I know I lack a skill right now, but I want to give people an important message through my artworks. As I design Canada's 150 city cover, I want to design 100th Korea National Liberation Day in 2047. If South and North Korea can be unified in the future, I want to show this historical event to people through my artworks. In the Bible, it says, your beginning will seem humble, so prepares your future be. As in this quote, I was shy and didn't have self-confidence when I first came to Canada. But now I'm stepping forward to my dream. I believe I can reach my dream someday. Thank you for listening. 감사합니다.
참 우리 자녀들 보면은요, 한국인의 피가 흘려서 그런 걸까요? 참 재주 많은 친구들이 많아요, 그렇죠? 아트 쪽으로도 그렇고 또 체육도 마찬가지고 무궁무진한 가능성을 가진 우리 2세들이 바로 이곳 캐나다에서 살고 있습니다. 자, 다음은 5번째 참가자인데요. 네, 그레이드 11학년에 그러니까 11학년에 재학 중인 한재민 한 학생 단상으로 모시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 한재미라고 하고요. 여기 11학년 학생이에요. 오늘 에세이는 Canadian Politics에 대해 얘기할 예정입니다. 감사합니다.
Hello,
When I was still a young grade 8 boy, I had a chance to become a legislative page in the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. Now, if you don't know what that is, the Ontario government hires a couple of elementary students to help in the parliamentary process. I had mostly no experience nor interest in the field of politics back then, but this 5-week program really changed how I viewed things in my own community. Members of Parliament give a voice to their community, acting like a vessel that relays an area's residents' concerns to an open form of discussion. I witnessed firsthand as problems gave fruit to bills, and these bills became official Ontario law. Now, while this was fascinating and all, I noticed something a little bit concerning. Although Ontario itself is a very diverse province, I noticed that Parliament Hill itself wasn't very diverse. Although I could spot out a couple of Asian Canadian MPPs, I could not spot a single Korean Canadian MPP, and this fact was very concerning and disappointing. Just this year, I had another opportunity to participate in the Ontario Model Parliament program, where students from around Ontario came together to propose and hold a debate about major legislations about major Ontario issues. It was here that I had a second realization about the importance of representation and how crucial it is to have somebody that can propose policies that aligns with a certain community's concerns. On the first day of the program, I was able to see MPP Raymond Sungjin Cho, I don't know if you're familiar, announced an event by the Korean Canadian community at his riding of Scarborough Rouge River during member statements. This was a truly pleasant surprise because MPP Raymond Sungjin Cho is the first Korean Canadian MPP to be elected into Ontario Parliament in 2016. Through Raymond, the concerns of not only his riding, but the concerns of the Korean Canadian community is able to put into paper through petitions and debate. MPP Sungjin is only one person, but the voices of many people around Ontario, and especially the voices of the Korean Canadian community, can be heard throughout MPP Raymond. My dream ties in with my experience as MPP Sungjin and one more person. During my visit, I was fortunate enough to have a meal with the representative of my riding, Markham Unionville, Michael Chan, and he's been selected to serve as the Minister of Immigration and Trade by the Ontario government. And he's a key figure in keeping trade relationships between China and Canada healthy and active. And I was very impressed at how much he could contribute to both Ontario and the Chinese community within Ontario. And it was here after this lunch that I started considering how I could play a role in the Korean Canadian community. For the last 2 years, I've worked as a member of my local youth council, the Markham Mayor's Youth Council. And many young adults in the council had a lot of interest toward Korean culture, such as K-pop, Korean drama, Korean food. I was able to help them experience Korean culture by inviting them over and sharing some Korean cuisine. It was a small but meaningful role in introducing Korean culture to my students, my fellow students. Big or small, anybody can represent Korea in their own way, in their own unique fashion, in their own unique place. Growing up, I'm planning on keeping my ears open to keep up with events of my community, such as this one. I'm also going to continue practicing the Korean language. I won't stop learning about Korean culture and heritage either. As of now, I still have many dreams. I'm not sure what kind of path I want to take, but when I become an adult, I'll always remember that I'm part of this Korean community. Someday, if I happen to come across an opportunity to represent the Korean Canadian community on the big political stage, then I'll try to become a voice that can both contribute to Canada and Korea. Thanks for listening.
Hello, my name is Sophie Kim, and today I'll be talking about my dream. My dream is to become the Minister of Education to help those who are in special education. I would like to become a special education teacher, then become the Minister of Education to help the Korean government to enhance their educational system according to the special education part, so that the special education students will have a better chance in studying and being welcomed into the society. Thank you. I would like to share my dream. My dream is to become the Minister of Education in the Cabinet of Canada. I would like to help the younger generations be equipped to become who they dream of becoming, especially those who are mentally and physically challenged. I would like to create an equal opportunity for them to achieve their goals and help society see that they are no different from any other children at school. As the Minister of Education, I would like to work with the Korean government to enhance the educational system by introducing the special education curriculum of Canada to public schools all around Korea, and to enhance the special classes and schools already in place now. The issue of the placement of disabled children and how society treats them is a great concern to their parents. I would like to encourage them and help them feel proud of their own children. Here's the plan to achieve my dream. First, I have to become a special education teacher. I will go to university and graduate with a bachelor's degree in politics, education, and special education. Then I will go to teachers college and become a special education teacher. From being a teacher, I will gain experience and knowledge to create curriculums for individuals according to their disabilities and the degrees of that disability. I will then go to the Office of Canada and run for an office in the Cabinet of Canada. Then I will slowly work my way up to becoming the Minister of Education. From there, I will pass on the education structure of Canada to Korea. That is where the start of a better future begins, not only for the children, but for the society embracing them as well. One of the issues that I see with the special education system of Korea is how the imbalance between supply and demand. In order for special kids to learn properly, they must have qualified teachers who will give them their full undivided attention to their education, performance, and needs. The availability of special classes show a pyramid shape, while the number of students advancing to higher levels of education show an inverse pyramid shape. To solve a problem such as this, we must consider promoting the job of a special education teacher. The second issue that I see in the special education system of Korea is how the classes do not meet the needs of all students. Current students attending special classes have a variety of disabilities and varying levels and degrees of that disability. There are 7 different types of learning disabilities which branch off into more specific disabilities, not including ADHD and autism, which creates many obstacles for these children. To solve a problem such as this, we must expand and create a more flexible educational structure to expand the potential of support for these children. The final issue I would like to discuss is inclusive education. As soon as these children graduate from secondary school, they will have to live in a non-disabled society. So it is better for them to learn in such atmosphere, but it is more challenging than going to a special education school because of the different quality of work as well as the limitation of assistant teachers. A mother of a 14-year-old with brain lesion in Busan complains about how her child does not get the care, support, and attention needed. 17% of the 70% of children that go to general schools actually get to study with the non-disabled, defeating the whole purpose of sending them there. I would like to build my career helping special education students, not only in Canada but in Korea as well. As a Korean Canadian who is bilingual and understands both cultures, I will help strengthen the relationship between Korea and Canada. I hope that the next time we meet, this will not be a dream but a reality. 저의 꿈 이야기를 들어주셔서 감사합니다.
Hello, my name is Brendan Lee, and my speech today will be about learning about the other half of my culture as an exchange student in Korea. Thank you very much.
I always considered myself just an average Canadian person. A very typical Canadian person who used to enjoy playing hockey and eating poutine. That is what I have considered myself for many years, because I used to often feel so oblivious to the other half of my culture. It seemed as if all of my Korean friends had casual conversations in Korean, listened to Korean music, and all brought kimbap for lunch every day. As for me, I used to not be able to say anything in Korean but Happy New Year, which was only uttered about once or twice a year. For the longest time, Canadian was the only identity that I had given myself, but it all changed. This summer, I packed my bags and flew off to Korea for the first time in my life. This was no ordinary family vacation or anything. I participated in an exchange program to learn the Korean culture and language. But what motivated me to venture off to a new continent, 10,595 kilometers away from home? Backtracking, it was only a year ago or so when I first started to become interested in my own heritage. I have always wondered what it is about Korean entertainment that makes it so interesting for my rather multicultural school to enjoy. I will admit, though, I found a lot of appreciation for the Korean culture after consulting the media. However, it was just not satisfactory enough for me. I wanted to breathe Korean air and know what it feels like to be a Korean person living in Korea. One day at school, my Korean friend told me about an opportunity to go to Korea on a school exchange program which would be organized by the Korean Education Center in Canada. Little did I know, this trip would change my viewpoint on the culture and even influence my dreams as a Canadian-born Korean. Touching down in Incheon, Korean soil, was a very exciting moment for me. A bit nervous too, though, as I will be stepping out of my comfort zone by living with a homestay family and speaking mostly in Korean. Turned out, everyone was so nice and supportive of me. Although I loved to sightsee Korea, taste the flavorful foods, and experience the upbeat life of a Korean person, it was the people that stood out to me the most. The school, my new family, the friends I had made. They were all so welcoming and were so eager to show me around. I shared my experiences of going to school in Canada to Korean students, while I observed many of the cultural and educational differences around me. I even got the chance to share my positive experiences on television. Whether it would be walking around in an ancient palace in traditional Korean clothing, seeing my favorite girl group perform live in Seoul, or attending school, all the diverse experiences that I have had in Korea have made a lasting impact on me. I learned that if anyone like me has trouble connecting with their cultural roots, the best thing is to step out of comfort zones and explore. I strongly believe that the best thing to do is get up and do something we fear. And that is exactly what I did and why my viewpoint on Korean culture changed. I approached this opportunity with an open mind to learn new things and, more importantly, learn about the other half of myself that used to seem like a blur. Now, I am proud to say that I am Korean. When I was in Korea, I visited the Canadian Embassy in Seoul. It was a unique experience for me because I saw how my two cultures were interconnected in a way. I met and spoke with ambassadors who helped promote and advertise Canadian culture in South Korea. This experience was not only a great learning experience, but it gave me the chance to reflect on how I could be a Korean ambassador in Canada and vice versa. I wanted to share the beauty of this wonderful culture with Canadian people, just like how the Canadian ambassadors in Korea were doing. However, right now I am still young. I still have so much to live for and so many hopes, dreams, and goals I would still like to achieve. For the longest time, I dreamt of graduating from medical school, becoming a doctor, and teaching future doctors. Although I consider this the biggest dream of my life, I still want to promote my Korean heritage wherever I go. No matter where I end up, I will always carry my Korean pride with me, and I will open-mindedly explore opportunities that come my way. Perhaps in 20 years, I could teach at one of the medical schools in Korea, like the ones I saw on my trip and wanted to attend. Or perhaps I could travel the world as a volunteer doctor helping with relief projects. Whatever the future holds for me, being a Korean Canadian will always be my source of pride and will always motivate me to be a better person and to follow my dreams. Thank you very much for listening.
참가한 학생들이 이제 무대 위에서 본인의 이제 생각을, 꿈을 발표할 때마다 아주 흐뭇한 표정으로 부모님들 지켜보시는 모습을 보니까 저 역시 흐뭇합니다. 자, 사실 첫 번째 참가자만큼 긴장되는 학생이 아마 또 마지막 참가자일 것 같아요. 앞서 한 7명의 학생들이 하는 걸 다 봤잖아요. 그러면 나도 저 학생만큼 잘할 수 있을까? 그리고 또 중간에 다 잊어버리지 않았을까 하는 걱정도 될 텐데요. 마지막 참가 학생 여러분께 소개해드리겠습니다. 글렌 포레스트 세컨더리 스쿨 그레이드 10에 재학 중인 안홍주 학생입니다.
Hello, my name is Hongju An, and currently I'm in grade 10. So today for the competition, I will be explaining about how I will be supporting the bilateral relationship by becoming a biomedical engineer. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hongju An, and here I stand to share my ambitions with you. I am Korean, but I grew up in an environment a little different from ordinary Korean students that live in Korea. In pursuit of an enriched life for our family, my parents made a difficult but courageous decision to immigrate to Canada before my birth. Although I may be Canadian, deep down in my roots runs the blood of my Korean ancestors. And despite moving to another country, my parents did not wish to abandon their Korean culture and heritage. Thus, they worked hard to integrate it into my life. Therefore, as proudly taught and grown, I proudly say I am Korean. These factors have shaped my identity. Therefore, it is important for me to recognize, understand, and reflect upon my history as a Korean. Unlike my parents, I have the fortune of being able to have a dual citizenship. Therefore, I feel even more obligated to do my best to connect the bilateral relationship between the two countries. To contribute to the bilateral relationship between the two countries, I intend to conduct my duty and role as a Canadian Korean citizen by becoming a biomedical engineer. Our world's scientific and technological developments have been developing at an incredibly accelerated rate. Our world continuously changes, and more intellectuals in the math and science fields are required. Fortunately, these are also where my strengths lie, and I have a particular interest in the workings of the human anatomy. Therefore, I would like to contribute to the evolving world of science and technology by becoming a biomedical engineer. Biomedical engineers encompasses applying engineering principles and design concepts to medicine and biology for medical purposes. Both Canada and Korea are incredibly developed countries with advanced medical studies. By engaging in various programs and projects together, Canada and Korea can learn from one another. I will be playing the role of strongly enforcing and supporting these possible future projects. Although nothing is guaranteed yet, I will have to strive hard and work and study in order to expand my knowledge and eventually become an influential individual who makes a significant difference in the world. As my first step, I set up my primary goal to create a program in creating a nanobot mechanism that would look through our bodies to eliminate cancer cells. This research is ongoing, and many countries have already started their projects and their researches. However, a complete solution is not yet found. Korea is very strong in making nano small mechanics, while Canada has already started to develop and research this idea. Challenging projects such as these can be jointed together to be developed together. Performing joint projects between universities, research centers, businesses, and companies would allow one another to interact and work collaboratively towards a common goal. And this sense of common goal allows the two countries with completely different ideologies and cultures to work more inclusively and even more collaboratively. This would help in fostering a positive relationship between the two countries, but this may also make an opportunity and open different economical pathways for trade and businesses as well, as this would help to boost the bilateral relationship between the two countries even farther. As for now, I am a mere student, so first I must become an exemplary student. For a smoother transition in the future, I have already achieved top class in topic, and I intend to use this to the best of its capacity to enforce my role as a Canadian Korean citizen. After my years in high school end, I plan on going to university, and when I do so, I plan on seeking for opportunities to visit Korea as an exchange student. By doing so, I would be able to gain an immersive, hands-on experience and learn in depth about the culture and subjects that Canada and Korea can learn from one another. Hopefully, my efforts and times will lead my ambitions to become truthful. But until then, I will study hard and strive to become a successful engineer, to become a participative, dedicated, and responsible citizen of both Canada and Korea. Thank you very much.
오늘 8명의 참가자 여러분들의 발표 내용을 듣고 잠시나마 오늘 대회가 어땠는지 심사위원장님 모시고 무대 위에서 총평을 들어보는 시간을 준비해 봤습니다. 우리 김은희 변호사님, 심사위원장님 박수로 환영해 주십시오.
안녕하세요. 제가 심사위원장으로 이 자리에 쓴 거에 대해서 사실 좀 송구스럽고 저 자신이 이러한 좀 어린 학생들이 와서 이렇게 발표를 한 거를 보고 참 감개무량했습니다. 저 역시 어려서 한국을 떠나왔기 때문에 한글을 배우는 것보다는 그 한글 문화에 대해서 관심이 있어서 저는 UFT에서 한글학과에 대해서 공부를 그때 했기 때문에 그나마 한국에 대한 역사를 알게 되고 한국에 대한 그 아픈 히스토리도 그때 배웠습니다. 그래서 앞으로 아까 부모님이 말씀하듯이 이러한 많은 영어로 한국인이라는 것을 표현할 수 있는 기회를 준비하는 이러한 이벤트가 참 중요하다고 생각합니다. So we're very happy that you're aware of the issues facing these 1.5 second generation Koreans who are more comfortable speaking in the English language. And I have to say, we are very inspired by your efforts, and you you're articulating your personal visions for the future, not only the present but the future of the young Korean Canadians. And thank you very much.
얼TV 상에겐 수상자에게는 상금 1,000불과 함께 상장이 수여되겠습니다. 얼TV 상 참가번호 5번 한재민 학생입니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 상장 얼TV 상 한재민 위 학생은 주 토론토 총영사관이 주최한 2017 청소년 나의 꿈 발표대회에서 위와 같이 입상하였기에 이 상을 주어 칭찬합니다. 2017 10월 26 주 토론토 대한민국 총영사 강정식 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 축하드리겠습니다. 뭐 이미 발표가 다 된 거와 다름이 없지만 그래도 올해 제2회 청소년 나의 꿈 발표대회 영예의 대상 수상자를 발표해드리겠습니다. 참가번호 8번 안홍진 학생입니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 시상에는 강정식 토론토 총영사님께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 상장 대상 안홍주 위 학생은 주 토론토 총영사관이 주최한 2017 청소년 나의 꿈 발표대회에서 위와 같이 입상하였기에 이 상을 주어 칭찬합니다. 2017년 10월 26일 주 토론토 대한민국 총영사 강정식 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 오늘 대회 영예의 대상에게는 상장과 함께 상금 1,000불이 수여되겠습니다. 네, 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 제2회 청소년 나의 꿈 발표대회 영예의 대상은 마지막 참가자 참가번호 8번 안홍주 학생에게 영예가 돌아갔습니다. 축하드리겠습니다.